Yo, yo, welcome to Trippy Commentaries and our fantasy football draft here in the 2014 season. I'm RJ, and it is my pick here. Definitely looking hard, seeing my options as I don't have much time. Let's see here, under a minute.
Pressure's on, buddy.
Man, a guy I really like is there, but I'm worried about a certain position. I think I'm going to take a chance here. Yeah, looking at it, I hate to do this, but I'm too worried about running backs at this point. I'm going to take my chances with Rashad Jennings.
Yes!
So, you definitely need a good number 2 running back, as my team is Jordy Nelson, Doug Martin, Rashad Jennings, and Jimmy Graham. Kyle, you had the pick immediately after.
I was like holding it in, like, because I saw on your screen you had Keenan Allen selected, and I'm like, no, I want him. I need him.
Yeah,
I need him.
It was tempted for me. Tempted.
And then, but
oh, that's your number 1 wide receiver.
He's gonna be my number 1.
Props to you, FPS Kyle. I like that pick.
With my running backs that I have.
I'm not too happy with him as a number 1, but where you drafted him, money. So I commend you, FPS Kyle.
I still got a couple other wide receivers on this board that are.
Mike is on the board here, so Mike, we'll see who you pick. While you're thinking, let's take a quick look at K-Mac's team here. Let me see. Where the hell is it? Is it off the thing here? Well, FPS Kyle.
Right in front of you.
There we go, Kyle's team. There, I'm looking for FPS. So you have Keenan Allen as your number 1 wide receiver. Eddie Lacy, Giovanni Bernard, and Zach Stacy. So you have 3 number 1 running backs here. Okay. We'll see how that works out for you. In our league, we can play 3 running backs. There's also an extra flex spot, as you guys can see here. That's wide receiver or tight end. So it gives you the option of playing another wide receiver. You can actually play 2 tight ends. So if you're able to get 2 solid tight ends, you can do a 2 tight end format. We also have IDP players. You might see a couple IDP players drafted at some point, but usually that happens later rounds as we're all just trying to get our offense as good as possible right now. Mike, running out of time here, you went with Vincent Jackson to be your number 1 wide receiver. How do you feel about that?
I think that's pretty solid, number 1 wide receiver. You know, I like the other guys left here in the draft, so I think I'm feeling pretty safe with him at number 1.
Yeah, I like that as well, that's for sure. All right. Retro Brett, it looks like he is now in the draft, so he is no longer auto-drafting. He figured it out. Of course, he is Retro Brett, so figuring out this high technology, you know, we kind of expected it might be an issue, but he can't be upset with his team at all. Mike, what do you think about Retro's team? He's got AJ Green as his number 1 wide receiver, Matt Forte and Andre Ellington as a running back duo.
I like it. You know, it was questionable where he took Ellington with the auto draft there, but you know, I think he'll get a lot of play this year, and I think he was a great player last year. So we'll see what happens there. Really came on.
Another pick just went off the board by Retro Brett. He went with Matthew Stafford. Damn. Retro Brett, the sleeper here. Right? He's got a nice little collection going on here. Time for Raspo, Matt's pick. He went right with Victor Cruz. Didn't take much time. So he's got Aaron Rodgers, Antonio Brown, Victor Cruz, LaShawn McCoy. He better find a number 2 running back quick. Moving on to Justino's pick, currently with Brandon Marshall at wide receiver. Julio Jones as his 2nd wide receiver. That's solid. Yeah. And he has the grand running back from last season, Jamal Charles,
the number 1
on Justin's team. Justino, can you give us any insight, as I'm sure your mind is racing trying to figure out who's going to be on the Justin squad this year?
RJ, right now I'm looking at some running backs. I really need to solidify that RB2 slot for me. Really happy with my receivers so far. And as we predicted, right now the running back ranks are thinning out, so really trying to find the right guy for my team.
Toby Gearhart there in Jacksonville, he is the definite starter. Ryan Matthews, I mean, if you look at his stats from last year, 1,255 yards, nothing wrong with that. Roddy White is back and healthy. I know you said you're looking for a running back. Can C.J. Spiller rebound? Justin has gone with an old favorite of his, Frank Gore.
Very dependable.
Nice pick, Justin. I feel like that's kind of going out of the box, but it might end up as a jackpot pick.
Filling team need, that's what you got to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you're trying to follow the Yahoo rankings, he was a little buried, I'd say, under some guys. But seeing how San Francisco's offense was pretty much efficient last year and a lot of goal line opportunities, he's looking to get a lot of red zone touches here.
All right, Mark made a shocking move, guys. He picked Peyton Manning, #1 overall. And it's left the rest of his team somewhat scary here. Deshaun Jackson and Andre Johnson, as well as Arian Foster for #1 running back. Maybe he gets lucky and Arian Foster looks like the Arian of old.
Yeah.
But he did pick up Ryan Matthews, one of those kind of maybe underrated running backs nowadays. But he has an issue. I don't know if you want to break it to your cuzzo though, Kyle, but I'm looking at his team. It appears that he has 4 of his current 5 players all have bye weeks in week 10.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
I mean, that's one way to look at it. All right, so I'll just forfeit week 10 and hope
True.
that I'm solid every other week.
Not a bad way to look at it, I suppose. All right.
Ooh, Austin, Reggie Bush. Very nice. I think we'll see a little bounce back here this year for Bush.
So Justin going with Reggie Bush. Justin, I'm assuming that's really for depth, just trying to get as many of those second-tier running backs as possible and hoping that one turns into a #1.
Yeah, definitely looking for a solid #2. Unfortunately, as we were talking off camera, there's like a little timeout thing with the Yahoo draft.
Yeah.
So whoever's #1 in your queue will get auto-picked when it times out like that. So that happened to me just now with Bush. I don't mind the pick at all. It really helps out my running back situation. Personally, I was looking at a different position, so... But I'll take it.
Damn.
That sucks, man. Damn. All right. Let's see. Check out old Raspo's squad here. He took Aaron Rodgers from me. I was really hoping to get Rodgers, but I ended up with Jordy Nelson. Yeah. So at least I got part of that battery. Antonio Brown, Victor Cruz, LaShawn McCoy, and he just added Shane Vereen, a running back I was hoping to get. Not going to happen, unfortunately, for me. Let me look here. All right, Retro Brett. Let's see who he goes with.
Come on.
Mike, any thoughts about this draft so far? Is it as chaotic as most drafts are for you? Mike, are you there, buddy? Uh-oh. So we've lost Mike. Hopefully everything's okay on his end. In fact, it's showing...
no, he's still good.
Showing he's still good. Hopefully everything's okay. Best wishes. How about for you, Justino? This seems like perhaps our most chaotic draft yet.
I would have to agree. Usually Yahoo's pretty good with posting the draft and everything, and we're experiencing some minor difficulties here, but that's all right. It just comes with the territory, and you got to be prepared.
Mm-hmm. No doubt about that. Interesting. Very interesting players left. There's one guy I have my eye on here. Man.
Oh, yeah. I got some guys, too.
Wow. Speechless here. FPS Kyle, you're coming up. Yeah. Mike, are you back online yet? No, still no Mike. We'll have to check in. Hopefully everything's okay now. Normally when you're on auto draft, I believe it does your pick right away.
Yeah, it would show the little box there.
Yeah.
It's got the arrow on it.
Yep.
He's still picking. Maybe he's got some mic issues going on. I don't know.
Yeah, he's had some issues with the draft. One of the most memorable mic issues once in, I believe it was the 3rd or 4th round, he went with Mason Crosby. A moment that will go down in infamy.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yep.
But he is on the clock here. We'll see who he goes with. He's currently working with
hopefully he's not
Drew
like
Brees.
in the bathroom or something, and he's just not back yet because he hasn't picked yet. So
this could be scary.
He might be getting Toby Gerhardt.
And he went with
Percy Harvin.
Percy Harvin. He's always been a fan of Percy Harvin.
Wow.
Kyle, you're on the spot, and of course I'm going to be following your pickup.
I had a plan here. I was going to go one route, but I'm changing it just because of some of the guys that are left. This is a guy I feel fucking high on. Last 4 weeks of the season, this guy had more fantasy points than any other receiver. Mr. Cordero Patterson.
I remember you went with him in another one of our drafts. I'm gonna take a quick look, and I think I'm about to make a pretty shocking pick here. A little bit worried about these running backs here. All right, guys, this pick might stun you here. Let's take a quick look at the quarterbacks. Plenty guys still available. I'm going to go with none other than Rob Gronkowski. That gives me Jimmy Graham and Rob Gronkowski possibility to play both of them at the same time. I know Gronk's a huge risk when it comes to injury, but at least I have little Jimmy, so hopefully it works out.
Interesting here because my original plan was to draft Rob Gronkowski. I was like, he's still falling, thank God. I was going to get him. But I want to go with a big-time receiver just because there is some other tight ends out there that are still really good. I wouldn't mind having them. So I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
I'm going to let shit fall to me.
Oh, me too. No doubt. Now, I will point out, guys, our league permits 2 tight end use. A lot of you who are playing in just, normal leagues, kind of the default leagues, I guess you can call them. A lot of you guys won't be able to play 2 tight ends at one time, so just keep that in mind. You are only going to want to make a pick where you have a little Jimmy as well as Rob Gronkowski in a situation where you can use them both at once. All right.
Looks like Mike is back. Welcome back, buddy, if you can hear us.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Had a technical difficulty there, but was able to go on my phone and pull off my draft pick of Percy Harvin as my number 2 wide receiver. I think he's a solid number 2.
Yeah, I'm still looking for a number 2 wide receiver myself. Mike, I don't know if you noticed, I actually went with Rob Gronkowski. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, that gives me Jimmy Graham and Rob Gronkowski. Gary has back-to-back team. Gary, I believe that's one of your buddies, right?
It's a guy I play softball with, a good guy.
Nice.
He's big into fantasy, so I'm going with Steven Jackson, maybe taking a little bit of a chance there, but he is a big Florida State fan, so maybe we could see the old Freeman pick later on in the draft.
Well, look at this here. I like his team so far. Des Bryant, Demaryius Thomas. He may have the worst running back duo known to fantasy football.
Yeah.
He's currently coupling up Ray Rice and Steven Jackson. Good luck, Gary. That's all we can say.
He just got Chris Johnson, so...
Okay, well, at least he can start Chris Johnson. He's a guy that's somewhat startable. Ray Rice, he's going to go directly to the bench.
This is why I went running backs early, man, because I see a lot of people now trying to scramble for running backs, and they're kind of missing some other players that are on the board that are falling, so...
Yeah, I had to kind of stretch for Rashad Jennings. I hope he pulls it out for me. It's a risky number 2 running back, but then again, he has looked good in the past, and hopefully the Giants can get their act together. It is almost my pick here. Wow, plenty of good players on the board here.
What are you thinking, RJ?
Man, I'd love to go. Ooh, I think I know who I'm going to go with. Oh man, geez, there's guys I love. But I think I know who I'm going to go with. I think I'm going to have to stretch for a certain somebody. We'll see who Jibo picks. He's a very good drafter here, so he might have the same guy in mind because he also needs the same position. But there's certainly some players I really like still out there. As the time ticks, who will Jibo go with? And the one guy I'm thinking about going with is kind of someone I said I was willing to stretch for. I feel like I'm stretching a couple times in this league. We'll see. But I think Jibo might go with him here, which would screw up my plans. He didn't. Who did
Jibo went C.J. Spiller.
C.J. Spiller, not a guy I was interested with at all. I'm actually going to stretch for my quarterback, Andrew Luck. He's a guy I think who's going to take a big step up this season.
Oh, yeah.
Now I got my quarterback. Now, I probably will look to get another quarterback on the back end just as insurance.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's some guys that are definitely valuable. But I'm going to go ahead and start off with Andrew Luck. It should be noted that I know he has a matchup with the Denver Broncos in Week 1. That's going to be awesome Sunday Night Football.
All right, well, I'm going to go with another guy who we had very high on a lot of our lists, and a guy that I feel is kind of dropped here. Quarterback situation is a little iffy, but I feel this guy is quarterback. Doesn't matter who's throwing to him because he proved it last year. I got to solidify my tight end spot. I'm going Mr. Jordan Cameron.
Jordan Cameron, really?
Yes.
Okay, so you're looking to just get rid of that tight end spot. You want some guy that you can depend on.
Yep.
All right, so what do you think? I mean, he looked pretty good with Hoyer last year.
I mean, pretty much.
Manziel could make him look good as well.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't have a dependable quarterback last year, and he still was great. He gets a lot of touchdown opportunities. To me, he's a mini Jimmy Graham. He's going to be kind of a similar guy. He's going to get open. He doesn't have the stud quarterback that Jimmy Graham has or Gronkowski, but I feel as a solid number 3. He's one of those elite tight ends, and I'm happy to get him, man. I mean, right now, because it was either that or number 3 wide receiver. So I still have a ton of guys on here. I'm huge on at wide receiver. I'm going to let the draft keep happening.
Mike, you are on the board currently. Drew Brees. That's going to be interesting for you to have Drew Brees this year, Mike. That'll be kind of cool. Vincent Jackson, Percy Harvin. Really can't complain too much about that. Adrian Peterson, Le'Veon Bell. Pretty solid team as of so far. Who's it going to be for your next pick? A lot of good guys available.
Yeah, I don't know who I'm going to take here. I've got a couple guys I'm looking at. Kyle really took the guy I wanted under my nose. So, oh boy, here we go.
10-second warning. 5, 4, 3, 2. Press draft, Mike. Emmanuel Sanders.
You bastard. I was going to fall to my next pick.
Quite the stretch.
Yes.
Quite the stretch. But we're all high on him here at Trippy Commentaries, so I feel like that's probably a good, kind of a guarantee kind of pick of a guy who's probably going to put up some very good stats.
Old retro with Greg Olsen. Nice.
Greg Olsen, pretty much Cam Newton's only proven starter these days as far as this wide receiver crew is concerned.
Yeah, anybody with any type of experience.
Yeah, in this case, he's a tight end that definitely acts as a receiver in many situations. Raspo on the clock. I'm not really a huge fan of his team. Actually, you know what? I take that back. He's got an excellent team because Aaron Rodgers up there. He's got a very sound team. We'll see who he adds here. Justin, you are coming up. Let's see what team needs you have. Justin, another guy here who's waiting on that quarterback. Very interesting. Also needs a tight end, but everything else looks pretty sound for you.
Yeah, tight ends. Kind of feel like I have to stretch for a guy here. Everyone's starting to take all the best ones available, and I definitely need a quarterback. And between these two picks, I'll pretty much have to grab one.
Joik Bell's available there if you want to get a capable backup to old Reggie Bush there.
No, I'm not really buying into that strategy at this point in the draft for my team because I need a tight end badly and I need a quarterback. Even though I feel like some quarterbacks might fall a little further and could, snap up a Tom Brady like in a few more rounds. But
yeah,
that's what I was thinking, Justin. I was in the exact same situation.
Tony Romo still there.
I was like, just looking at the quarterbacks, I'm happy with a lot of those guys that are left. You got to slip. You want that dependable tight end every week, and it sucks scrambling for. I've done it before. It sucks scrambling for tight ends.
Mm-hmm. An interesting situation. Pierre Garçon falling below Deshaun Jackson. I know because of how good Deshaun Jackson was last year, a lot of people assume he's the new number 1 there, but Pierre Garçon did a lot of work the past couple years. We know RG3 likes him. I mean, he's his number 1 guy.
Definitely.
So we'll see who comes out as the number 1 receiver in that system. Justin, it's coming down to 0 hour. This is your pick.
Yes, it is.
You will be stuck with whoever you choose.
You were kind of reading my mind there, man. As a third receiver, Pierre Garçon would do just fine, I believe.
Oh yeah! Wow, number 3 receiver.
Yeah.
Excellent pick. That's pretty safe for a number 3 receiver, I'd have to say.
Definitely.
All right.
Marcus got with Jason Witten. I believe he had him last year as well.
Jason Witten, at this point where people are looking to get surefire tight ends, that's not a bad guy to get at this level. Mark with another pick here. Let's look at his current team. Man, Mr. Peyton Manning there. Another pretty solid team. I feel like he should be going for some running backs here. Probably needs some depth. But apparently he feels pretty safe with Arian Foster. See how he does this year. Oh, man. I think we've officially reached that limit where the position players are starting to get a little bit more scary here.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely getting a little bit thinner, but I think in some positions there's still a lot of good players left. Namely, wide receiver. There's a lot of guys that you don't mind having that are still left and available. So.
Yeah. I'm still looking for a number 2 wide receiver. So that'll be something I'll look to probably get a bunch of them in a row.
Yeah.
Just to be safe there. All right. Let's see here. So we got Justin on the clock once again already. Just got Pierre Garçon.
Yeah.
Still have some holes. Let's see.
Yeah, trying to figure it out here. I mean, I feel like if I don't go with a tight end at this spot, by the next time my turn rolls around, there's really going to be slim pickings. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you guys for joining us here for our fantasy draft. Definitely make sure to stay tuned to the recap. Of course, we'll put all of our teams out there. Let us know who you think has the best team. And, yeah, we'll definitely make sure to cover the league all year long. I think you'll really enjoy it. And definitely give us your feedback on whose team you think is good and, more importantly, whose team you think sucks. For the Trippy Comms Nation here, thank you guys again for joining us. Peace out and stay trippy.
Who's going to be Johnson?